The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
Hello, everyone. It's the week of September 10th, 2018. My name is Taylor Cooper, and this might be news to you. What up, everybody? Follow us on Twitter at Might Be News 24/7. That's Might Be News 247. Check us out on our awesome new website, mbnnetwork.com. You can check out all the episodes everywhere. All that shit.
You can listen to them. Yeah. You can listen to them right from the website. You don't got to go to SoundCloud.
You don't got to go anywhere. You just go straight to the website.
Go listen to them.
With me, as always, except for probably next week.
I'll be here.
Oh, that's right. You will be here. Co-host Kev, what up, co-host Kev?
Yo.
What up, co-host Danny?
What's up?
Yo, we're here.
We're here.
It might be news, bitch. It's the flagship. You know what I mean?
It's great.
It's the flagship of the network.
What happened last night?
What happened last night?
Tell him, Dan. What happened last night?
The Eagles won opening day, baby.
The Eagles are 1-0.
Best record in the NFL.
Quick division leader, you know? I was busting people's shit all day at work. I got a Giants fan and a Raiders fan at work, and they just hate all day.
Uh-huh.
I tell them all the time, I can't trust your fucking judgment. You know what I mean? I can't trust your judgment. Last year, they're like, so-and-so's going to beat y'all this week. So-and-so's going to do this. So-and-so's going to do that. Guess the fuck what?
World champions.
You're wrong all day. So.
Did everybody see that patch on their jerseys?
Oh, dude, it's so dope.
Yeah. Yes. Super Bowl 52 champions. Love it.
Might drop some bills and get one. Those things are fresh.
Will they rock that all season long?
I don't know.
Yes, they will.
They will?
Yes, they will.
So
even
sick.
in the playoffs?
Until there's a new Super Bowl champion,
Okay.
they are the current Super Bowl champions. So, yeah, I hope they do.
So dope.
How about Doug Peterson showing his fucking huge nutsack and running the Philly special again?
Yeah. It was spectacular.
What I loved most about it is not only did we go to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots, but we took a play the Patriots ran in the Super Bowl and executed it better than the Patriots did.
So fucking hard. So
Awesome.
fucking hard.
Awesome.
You're so hype.
Oh, my God.
Football's back, man.
Football's back, dude.
Oh,
So for more football coverage, check out Might Be Sports later on this week. We got to get Danny on and Kev on as well to talk. Well, you're going to talk hockey, Kev.
Flyers.
Yeah.
Flyers, baby.
when
So-
did the Flyers start?
They actually start next week.
Okay.
Next week, preseason starts, and then the first opening game, I believe, is September 10th.
So they got
No, 4th.
do they-
September 4th.
Do they have a lot of September 4th?
Or October 4th, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Do they have a
Jesus
lot
Christ.
of preseason games like baseball
Yeah,
does?
They have like 10,
Ugh.
something like that.
Ugh.
They're not all televised. I mean, you can go on the internet and watch it,
I bet they're not.
and then they'll play.
Who the fuck cares about preseason hockey?
They'll play 2 games in one night.
Of course
Oh,
they
will
will.
they?
'cause
Yeah,
that
they'll
shit's
play
whack.
a game, and so if they play I think a couple games are against the Islanders. They'll play in Philly and in New York at the same time. They'll just split the squads
okay,
up,
yeah, they'll split the
and then
teams.
they'll bring all the
Yeah.
kids up and
Okay.
have them play.
Well, that's what the Phillies do. The Phillies split teams sometime and do 2 games at once.
What do you care less about, preseason baseball or preseason hockey?
Oh, God. I'm not a big preseason guy in general.
I hate preseason
fucking
baseball.
dumb.
I hate preseason football.
Like spring training for baseball and all that shit. Nah, no thanks. No thanks. It's just dumb. I'd rather watch the Little League fucking World Series.
The Flyers are so stacked this year. So stacked.
Yeah, who cares? So we have a really great interview on this episode of Might Be News. I talk with Jake Palumbo. He is a rapper, a producer, an engineer. He's got a web series coming out. He's got a lot of music on the internet that's really, really good. So I'll talk to him in a little bit.
Can I give you something to ponder on real quick?
Yes.
I saw something really cool.
Yeah.
It's just something to think about. If Pinocchio says, "My nose will grow now," it would cause a paradox.
What?
If Pinocchio says, my nose will grow right now, it'll cause a paradox.
Because it won't grow because he's lying. He's not lying.
This is known as the Pinocchio paradox. If you think about it, Pinocchio's nose would have to grow to make this statement not a lie. But then it can't grow, otherwise the statement would be a lie.
Kev, there's two things that immediately come to mind when you talk about this dumb shit. A is
it's not dumb shit.
How could
Yo,
you
look how hard Dan's thinking about it right now.
Danny's deep in thought because he was paying attention to what you were saying. I'm not deep in thought because I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. All I was thinking about was, what the fuck is Kev talking about? And how could he go from one episode having zero input, all of a sudden you're talking about fucking Pinocchio on the show? What are you doing, Kev?
But dude, how ridiculous is that?
No, so Pinocchio says, my nose.
All right, how was Spider-Man?
So no, this is like one of those things you talk about when you get really fucking high.
Yeah.
Like, dude, when dogs think, do they think in English or do they think in barks?
The Pinocchio paradox.
Yeah. Did you know in 2017 more people died taking selfies than shark attacks?
Really? Yeah, I believe that. People like falling off cliffs and shit.
Walking out into the traffic and get hit by cars. Yeah.
You fucking imagine.
Like dying taking a selfie?
Jesus Christ. Your headstone's like a selfie of yourself.
Getting hit by a car.
The last selfie that Kev took before he jumped down in front of a car.
I don't take selfies, so it's all good. You should, Kev. You're a good looking dude.
Yeah, thanks.
So here's some good news.
Hey, did you hear the news?
This better be good.
You want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the good stuff.
All right, season 4, episode 3. Danny, what do you got?
All right, we're going to be bringing up this story again. It's been brought up before by John. I talked about it last week. It's about the homeless man, Johnny, that gave his last $20 to help the stranded lady on the side of the road. Turns out that the people that set up the GoFundMe account have blown every bit of money that was in that account for Johnny. I believe Johnny only saw $75,000, so that means they blew $325,000. So there's actually they got a warrant to search the people's homes, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we posted that on the site too.
Such a crazy story, man.
It's so sad that, you know, all these people that donated to this good cause, it's not only Johnny was ripped off, but if you out in the public donated, you got ripped off as well.
Right, because it wasn't going where you thought it was going.
Exactly.
Right.
But the good news about it is GoFundMe has stepped up and they said, you know, their mission is to help people when they need help the most. So they are going to be giving Johnny $400,000. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Wild.
That's a lot of money.
That's a really big PR
Yeah. Huge.
That's crazy,
Huge.
man.
But, you know, it's just something good to hear. Also, I believe we brought it up last week as well. Like Kingdom Crumb is a food truck that was created by Carson Wentz, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a food truck that is going around all different parts of Philadelphia and helping to lift up the community by offering free food for no reason but to give to others.
It's awesome.
That's great.
Like Kingdom Crumb. It's a huge green food truck, and it's just going around giving out free food. It was actually outside of the Eagles game last night giving out free food as well.
It's incredible.
And my last story is the Philadelphia Eagles are still the Super Bowl champions.
Fuck everybody.
And we are 1-0.
What, Kev? You look like you want to say something.
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Got nothing.
Danny, are you still thinking about the Pinocchio paradox?
A little bit. Not going to lie.
So listen, we're going to do...
So shut up.
We're gonna,
Buddha.
Motherfucker. Listen, we've got a interview with Jake Palumbo coming up. And after that, we'll do a break. And we'll come back with What's the Point and late review. But I think this guy is really interesting. And it was just great talking to him. So here we go. With me this week is a incredible rapper, producer, engineer. He's got a web series coming out. Jake Palumbo. How you doing today, Jake?
Yo, what up? Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for being with us. All the way up in Brooklyn, New York, right? That's where you're at?
Brooklyn, New York for the last 12 years, yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Tennessee.
Okay.
From Johnson City, Tennessee, born in Knoxville, lived around East Tennessee, for the first chunk of my life. But I moved to New York about 12 years ago.
Okay. With aspirations of being a musician, producer, engineer?
Absolutely. Because, you read all these books about, like, quote unquote, how to make it in the music industry. And, they always tell you need to try to, get something established in your hometown first before you try to, venture off anywhere else. And I tried that advice for a while, but the problem, when I was a real young man was that, we were still a year or two away from the dawn of social media and whatnot. And, trying to blow up as an underground hip hop artist in Johnson City, Tennessee is like trying to grow corn in Afghanistan. Like, it's a really easy way to starve to death.
Right,
so,
right.
At that time, I kind of felt like I had to make a drastic change. And, that's how I ended. I moved to New York with about $75 to my name and, kind of put it all together from there. So,
Wow, that's incredible. Chasing the American dream, like straight up, that's like the definition of some of that shit, like you knew what you wanted, you went for it, and not only did you go for it, you literally moved to the heart of it. Like Brooklyn, New York that's Biggie, that's so many amazing artists come from that area.
Right.
Was that something that influenced your move to that specific place?
I mean, to a degree, of course, like, even when I lived in Tennessee, I was listening to, a ton of New York hip hop. And I was kind of weird in reverse. I embraced my Southern hip hop roots after I got to Brooklyn. But, also it was just, it was the epicenter of the music business. It was a place that I knew that I was going to have to either sink or swim. New York will eat you alive and spit you out, if you're not able to, swim in high tide currents. So, it was one of those things that I felt like it was a drastic decision that was going to kind of force me to either make it work or not,
Yeah.
So, and also too, like I had been coming up here to visit periodically. I would drive my Jeep up from Tennessee and, the certain brand of crazy up here, I just kind of blended in with pretty good.
Yeah.
So, it was a variety of reasons, but mainly like I knew I could, if I was going to come here, I couldn't really half step. It was going to force me to either make it happen or not, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me about your web series coming up. I mean, from what I've seen, it kind of has a lot to do with the process of you becoming who you are right now.
Well, absolutely. Like, it's kind of, I don't want to say unbelievable to a lot of people, but when I tell people that like I have survived off, just being a producer, an engineer, an artist, and things like that, for November will be 10 years since I had my last 9-to-5 job. I got laid off from my job. Oddly enough, I was on my way back from a show in Westchester, Pennsylvania in 2008, when I found out that, my job was closing and I'd been interning at a recording studio, in my nights and weekends at that point. And I got my first paid recording session the same week that I got laid off from my job. Wow. So I say that to say, because I'm not on a major label, because I'm not, a household name, because, I don't have, large money backing me, because I've done everything completely DIY, a lot of people find it kind of almost hard to believe that, I pay my rent off of this month after month. Now, that does not mean it's easy. That does not mean I've not endured all types of heartbreak and disappointment along the way. But I say that to say, part of, with social media and things like that and being able to talk to people and share your story, I've had a lot of people tell me like, all this game that you throw out online, like all these myths about the music industry that you dispel, like all that stuff that you're always talking online, you should say that into a camera and put it out there for people to, to consume. And another thing too, is I see so many people, artists, it can even be peers, people whose music I like and respect. I see a lot of people getting really frustrated and succumbing to like almost like a self-defeatist attitude of like, nobody supports, there's no money in this music. Well, and it's very easy for them to get kind of a toxic attitude about it. And I hate to see people, with that kind of attitude. So I kind of wanted to show folks like, one episode at a time, 10 minutes at a time, whether it's talking about, how to, because the thing is a lot of the things that I see people frustrated about, there is actually a solution to. You just kind of have to, as Doc Brown would say, think fourth dimensionally. You have to, like one of the first teaser episodes we put out was about the social media algorithms and, breaking down exactly why one post you put online may get a lot of traction as opposed to why one may get overlooked. And it's little things about that I kind of figured out along the way that I wanted to share with people. So that's, I just kind of set the camera up in the studio. I'm learning this video stuff as I go along, just like I learned engineering and production and things like that. But it started out with just me kind of talking into my camera and trying to explain a lot of the different things, whether it is, targeted specific techniques on how to, to get more traction as an artist when you don't have any money and you don't have any connections and you don't have, the resources and assets that a lot of the competition might, there's, anything you can do with money, you can do with your sweat equity, it just may take you a little longer. So I needed to come up with a kind of a eye-grabbing, ear catchy title for it. And I was like, well, how to be rich when you're not famous, because
that's perfect.
Like I said, I'm coming from I'm not famous. Like I'm not a household name. I could walk into the mall in Kansas and I won't have to worry about getting mobbed for autographs.
Right.
But, I paid my rent off my music and my various music related hustles for a decade now. So something's working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we just kind of put it together. Like and again, like I said, I'm learning this entire video. I bought a camera a few months ago out of kind of frustration of dealing with music video directors.
Right.
And, everything always being a process or, people charging too much or, they take too long or things like that. And I'm like, well, I in order to be able to churn out the amount of videos that I need to release, I should probably just invest in a camera. And when I did that, the subject of a video blog / web series, which had been kind of talked about for a little while, it just came to fruition. So I've been working these last couple weeks, trying to put the first few episodes together. Like I said, I'm figuring it out as I go along, but whether the production value is high or production value is low, the information and the truth inside stays the same.
Well,
So.
the trailer was great, and
Thanks.
it all sounds very interesting. I mean, with the algorithms and everything, because the internet with social media, it's such a crazy place. Like we've joked before on this show, and I'm sure you've heard the saying that the internet is undefeated. Where if the internet wants you to win, you're gonna win, like that kid yodeling in Walmart.
Right.
Or if the internet wants you to lose, you're fucked. Like you're gonna lose, and that's what people, the artists like you, people who podcast like me, those are the things that people like us have to deal with when we're trying to get our art or our message or whatever we're doing out there, and it's this crazy thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing the web series. Where can we find it on YouTube?
You can go to youtube.com/Spacelab Recordings. Spacelab Recordings is, the independent label I've ran for the last, 10 or 12 years, as well as the name of my actual studio in Brooklyn. So, everything I do is under the Spacelab banner. So,
Spacelab Recordings.
Recordings with an S. Yeah, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get not only the series but also all the music videos, live performance clips, everything we got to offer. That's the home base on YouTube.
That's incredible. That's great. Real quick, by the end of this interview, which I got a couple more questions left for you, but by the end of this interview, would you be able to give me somewhat of a, not in order, but top 5 dead or alive?
I can. That's a tough question because I could probably name you my top 55, but And not for nothing, my tastes change a lot, but I can tell you the top 5 that impacted me the most, I think.
Okay. Well, let it marinate for a couple minutes. I'll ask you a couple more questions.
Sounds good.
I've been jamming out to your latest release, Jake and the Jux Man, very hard this week. I really enjoyed it, cover to cover. It's a really good album. Production value is just through the roof. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that? When did it come out? It's on iTunes. Is it anywhere else?
It's available everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Jake and the Jux Man came out about a month and some change ago, July 6th. It dropped.
Okay.
I've always been a huge fan of Duck Down Records, the Boot Camp Clique,
Yes.
That entire camp.
Yep.
And when my studio was in Manhattan, we were in Manhattan for about 6.5 years until they sold their building last year. But I was located, my studio was located in the same building as Dan the Man Studios, which is where all the Duck Down music was worked on at. And so I ended up running into a lot of those guys. I've worked with Tech and Steel, rest in peace, Sean Price, Rock Nest Monster from Helter Skelter. Like, I ended up meeting and getting cool and working with, a lot of those guys. And Rusty was a dude that I was a fan of. And he ended up recording in my studio, was doing some of his feature verses and whatnot down there. And, we just hit it off and got cool, and I started playing him some beats. He was on my last album, my last solo record, Jake It Till You Make It. He appeared on the song Exoskeleton, which also featured Tech from Smith & Wesson. But, we ended up doing a couple records of him over my beats. And, we were really happy with how they came out. And we're talking like, well, hey, why don't we do an EP? And then an EP turned into a 12-song album because the songs just kept coming. Like, they were really easy. We just had a good chemistry in the lab. And, my thing is that, like, I've always very much been into, whenever possible, like, I like to produce a whole project for an artist.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, running around trying to place beats or, like, get this one beat on this guy's album or whatever. That's cool, and I'll definitely do it. But, whenever possible, I think my strength as a producer comes in being able to craft a whole album that sounds, that works for that artist and, adds a little bit of my style in too, because, it's a slightly different, style of beats than, you probably heard Rusty Jux on in his previous albums, but they fit, you know what I mean?
They fit. Yeah.
So,
it's really good.
So it was definitely, the album came together really easy. And at the end of, the album had been done for a month or two. We just didn't have a title for it yet. And we were kind of going back and forth looking for titles. And I got to thinking, I was like, yo, you remember that show, Jake and the Fat Man from the 1980s? Like, I don't know if some of your listeners may be too young to remember that, but there was a cop show in the 1980s called Jake and the Fat Man. And I was like, yo, what if we called it, because, one of his aliases is Jake and is Rusty, what am I trying to say? Jux Man the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we could call that Jake and the Jux Man. And we just started laughing. And, once we were laughing, and I reached out to my dude, Billy Bonks, who's a really dope artist, and he drew that cover by hand.
The cover is phenomenal. The cover is phenomenal. It's incredible.
Once we had a visual to go with it, then it was done. So, like, it's been out marinating for about a month now, and we're getting ready to release a few new videos. Same thing, doing the videos ourselves.
That's great.
But I'm really happy with the with the response from people. Like, my phone goes off every couple minutes with somebody talking about they listening to it. So
it's really good.
I'm very happy, man.
It's really good. Well, real quick, is there an album that sticks out to you so far in 2018? It's been kind of a crazy year with the Yeezy season, whatever else. I mean, there's been a lot of quality music. There's been a lot of duds this year. What is one that sticks out to you?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, that's most years. Like, almost every year you get some good stuff and you get some duds. I did really enjoy Fonte's album. I thought, I really liked Fonte's album. No News is Good News. I liked Evidence album a lot. Whether or Not, I think is the name of it. And then, honestly too, like a lot of, it's not been a lot of classic albums this year, I don't think, but there's been a lot of albums that had bangers on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? There's been a lot of bangers come out this year, but a cohesive full album, that's a little taller order. But
Well,
no, I definitely like Fonte's album a lot.
I'm gonna have to check that out, and I didn't know Evidence dropped a new album, so I'm gonna check that out as well. So I always like to ask that question because I don't catch everything. I look every Friday to see like what just came out or whatever, but it doesn't show everything. So
yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna miss something.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Let's see. I saw this week that you posted on Facebook a clip of the legendary DJ Premier spinning something from Jake and the Juxman. How did that feel? I can't even imagine.
I basically had a heart attack.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like I was at the studio. I was working on some kind of, I don't want to call it struggle rap, because they were helping me pay my bills. But I was in a pretty bad recording session, and my phone, kind of dings, and I pick up my phone like, "What do you want?" And it says DJ Premier tagged you in a post, and my heart skipped a beat.
Wow.
There must be some mistake. Now, it's not to say it's impossible. I mean, I've met Preem once or twice. There's only two people that I've met who have turned me into like, my admiration for them has turned me into like a socially awkward, fangirl upon meeting.
Yep.
And one of those is Premier, and the other was Cool Keith. So,
wow.
It takes a certain person who I got a real level of admiration for to, kind of throw me off my axis like that. I met Preem a couple times and felt like an awkward nerd afterwards. But, but I say that to say, Premier is a guy who, despite, his legacy, like he's a guy who really keeps his ear to the street. And, if there's good new music being released, he's going to find out about it. And so, it's a few people up there at Sirius XM, that, I've worked with in the past, Tony Touch, Ron Mills, a couple people like that. But, I guess the record just reached his radar. But, the illest part was seeing him cutting it up, like actually on two turntables.
Yes.
It's one of those things, Premier's in my top 5 favorite producers. And,
for sure.
It definitely, for like I said, for a grassroots record, that, it was just kind of done on the strength, on the hip, to see that cut and diced up by a legend. Like, I made a joke. I was like, I'm going to go die happy now.
Yeah.
Like I'm good,
Yeah.
So, and that, not to keep going back into what I was talking about before, but it's like, to be able to experience a joy like that comes at the end of 12 years of pain and sacrifice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like if I'd have given up all the times I felt like giving up, there's so much I would have missed out on.
Absolutely.
I say that to reiterate to people, like you literally never know what's around the corner. The venue in New York City I wanted to play the most this entire time was the Highline Ballroom, and I thought I never would. And 2 weeks ago, I just rocked it, opening up for Cassidy and, had one of the best shows of my life. So,
wow.
I just say that to say, like, the number one thing is to never give up because you never know what's around the corner if you stick it out. But no, the Premier thing was crazy, man. I literally almost had a heart attack.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. So, congratulations on that. And congratulations on everything that you got going on right now. It's just absolutely incredible.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. We're almost out of time. I know that the DJ Premier has to rank up there for you as one of your biggest personal accomplishments. But in your mind, what would you say? I guess that moving up there and enduring 12 years of that is your greatest accomplishment.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if I had to pinpoint a greatest accomplishment, it's literally just surviving this long.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I moved up here with literally no money, no connections in the music industry, no type of anything, other than my passion, my sweat, my ingenuity, my desire to learn and try to crack the codes, like, and not for nothing, like, I'm a hillbilly from Tennessee who is not the most orthodox mainstream type of rapper, like,
right.
So, to even survive doing things in my strange, weird way this long, I mean, that's to still be here, like in my 30s and to feel better, more skilled, more accomplished, and more excited about the future than I did when I was, 10 years younger. That to me, for the future to still be bright, that's the greatest accomplishment. But besides for that, I mean, really is just being able to do songs with a lot of my favorites, because at the end of the day, I'm still a hip hop fan. I'm still like, it still bugs me out sometimes, that the notion of being, peers and contemporaries with some of these people, so I've just about crossed off a lot of my bucket list, Cool Keith rapping on my beat, working with Sean P, the people, just from the fans' perspective, like if I make it to be 85, 90 years old, like the fact that I'll be able to still listen to that and say, hey, I did that, like that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
That's, I'm just glad to still, above all, I'm just glad to still be here.
Well, I'm glad you're still here too, Jake. You're killing it, man. And I've always supported you. We met years and years ago.
Yeah, man. We did a lot of shows together.
Yeah, we did a bunch of shows. I've always followed you to see how you were doing because you're an inspiration to me as well. Just to keep pushing, to keep moving, and I'm totally supportive of it. And I really hope that people check out your web series and check out Jake and the Jux Man and all of Jake Palumbo's other works. It's incredible. Jake It Till You Make It is a great album. Before we get out of here, I want to follow up on this top 5 dead or alive.
Well, like I said, my get on a certain kick where I listen to a certain rapper or artist, I'll wear their music out for 3 weeks and then move on to something else.
Yep.
But in terms of like the rap, I would definitely have to say Redman.
Yes.
I would definitely have to say Redman because of, he's just one of the greats. But the way he brought sense of humor into his lyricism. I would definitely have to say Cool Keith, because when I was an impressionable 18-year-old and I didn't really fully understand that, like, you could come out in a space helmet, rapping about weird stuff and it still be hip hop. Cool Keith opened my eyes up to that. I would definitely have to say Sean Price because, from the time I got up on his music in like 05, 06, like he was my favorite rapper.
Right.
And same thing, being able to be gritty and aggressive while still being funny at the same time. Beyond that, I definitely have to say Sticky Fingers from Onyx.
Yeah.
Cause he's a lunatic and, it kind of inspired me, to have kind of a lunatic style a little bit. And this may catch a few people from left field, but Project Pat. I'm a huge fan of, everybody from the 3 6 Mafia family tree. And DJ Paul and Juicy J are in my top 5 producers, like alongside, Premier and Dilla and people like that.
Oh yeah.
But there's something about Pat. Like I just always loved, his aura, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's incredible. All those guys you just listed are living legends. Well, yeah, but absolutely, man.
If you had a gun to my head right now, I would say that's my top 5.
Right. I guess all of them aren't living. R.I.P. Sean Price.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. And speaking of Sean Price, before we get out of here, just for iTunes to hear, do I have permission to play Dikembe Palumbo featuring Sean Price?
Absolutely do. Absolutely do.
Because all these algorithms and shit, they be getting people, man.
I know, right?
Hey,
nah, man, you can definitely rock that one.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Jake. I really appreciate you being on the show. Again, check out the web series. Space Labs Recordings is where you find everything, all the music videos, everything. Check Jake Palumbo out. You got to check it out. Thanks for being on with us, Jake.
Anytime, man.
Appreciate
I'll come back whenever you need me.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
man. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Smack your hipster back to Dumbo and sportsman-like conduct Dikembe Palumbo. Regretfully never acting my age. World television champ Lorenzo Lamas renegade. I'm vexed and left hanging in the vestibule. Soon be regrettable for questioning my vision. Unquestionable, I got more heart in my left testicle. Moved to Brooklyn back when that was still a questionable decision. Back when Giuliani getting rid of Orange Julius, I was fool enough to think that I could really do this. Buster Keaton with a deadpan trespassing, test pressing, white label money on the check cash.
Stage with the planet in the palm of my hand. Whatever I'm spitting on.
Get with the business. Royalty from the county of
I
Kings.
still be on the grind when it all connect. And we'll be first to catch this beat
I
down.
got Brooklyn manners and Tennessee tendencies.
Deep discussions turn to deep concussions.
Professor, pounding my dresser.
Overstand the underhanded ways of my campaign.
Welcome to Brownsville, my kin say the jungle. Got a lot of blocks, Ogden, Kimbe, Matumbo. Friends spray the gun blow, Tim's beige gum soul. Got blood on the bottom, thugs up inside them. Savage life, appetite for destruction. Bagging white, smacking hermaphrodite into function. Conjunction, junction, funks is pumpkin. Pie, iron fly, awesome Henny consumption. Too old for bullshit, playtime is over. Grade 9 with the mule kick, playtime for doges. Rap real life, life really's a rap. You shit, bitch, weak, 16, 6 feet deep. Baby ball, paw, crapping your diapers. I'm crazy, I don't play with y'all, cracking the pipers. Get the memo. Sean been harsh to the days of incidental.
On stage with the planet in the palm of my hand. Whatever I'm spitting on.
Get with the business. Royalty from the county of
I still
Kings.
be on the grind when it all connect. And we'll be first to catch this beat
I
down.
got Brooklyn manners and Tennessee tendencies.
Deep discussions turn to deep concussions.
Professor, pounding my dresser.
Overstand the underhanded ways of my campaign. Respectful honky, amicable Anglo. Productive junkie, eat a Xanax with a mango. Annex your assets by any means needed. Half this board meeting don't seem to realize I'm weeded. Southern hospitality, humble to a fault. But you pushed the wrong button, got no problems with assaults. You getting mushy, spending money on your lady. I'm getting pussy, wearing clothes from Old Navy. But my Ralph Lauren polos are pressed up like vinyl. Address me as your highness in the presence of your rivals. Electrified Blanca, fighting M. Bison. Finally earned a shot for 16 with Mike Tyson. Jake Palumbo, Jake Steed, Jake LaMotta. Jake it till you make it, take the money, make it hotter. Born in Tennessee, you tend to see a lot of firearms. Fire out your speakers, guaranteed as long as I am
On stage with
on.
the planet in the palm of my hand. Whatever I'm spitting on.
Get with the business. Royalty from the county of
I still
Kings.
be on the grind when it all connect. And we'll be first to catch this beat
I
down.
got Brooklyn manners and Tennessee tendencies.
Deep discussions turn to deep concussions.
Professor, pounding my dresser.
Overstand the underhanded ways of my campaign.
Check out Relatable Radio on the Might Be News Network.
On iTunes and SoundCloud.
New episodes every Tuesday. Oh! This is a mom confession. All right, I forgot to pick Landon up from school.
Only one day?
One day.
Okay.
All right, but I was at the bus stop. I forgot to pick him up at school.
So you were
So
making an
I
effort.
was-
It's not like you were out partying.
Right,
You
right.
were- yeah.
This is ruined. And it's bringing up,
You know, in 30
don't-
years,
you
he's
don't-
going to bring that up to you.
it was awful. Like, I was 30 minutes late, and the teacher's like, oh, I told him you were late because you were probably going back to school night for your kindergarten. I was like, yes. Yes, that's the night.
Oh.
That's exactly why I was late. I was watching Ellen. No.
Of course
No,
not.
I didn't make coffee and sit on the couch. No, not at all.
And welcome back to season 4, episode 3 of Might Be News. What up, Kev?
What up?
Yo, what up, Danny?
Yeah, a quick shout out. We just heard my wife during that commercial. We're recording this on Friday. Her birthday was 2 days ago, so happy birthday to my wife, Allison.
Happy birthday, Allison.
Happy birthday, Allison.
Belated birthday.
Belated birthday.
Belated birthday.
You'll be hearing this on Monday, so it'll almost be a week old, but
Right.
it just gets me brownie points.
Boom.
Done.
Nice. So shout out to Jake Palumbo. It was an awesome interview. Very interesting guy. Check him out everywhere. So, you ready for What's the Point? It's a big one tonight.
What's the point?
Here we go. What's the point?
Is there a point to this? What is your point?
Are you just going to sit there and look stupid?
All right, so Kev, you've been building up to something big. What's your point? Off air, Kev's just been all night just like, I just gotta do it.
You're over there mumbling.
Yeah. Fuck's wrong with you?
Because I'm second guessing myself, but I'll own it. I'll own it. So, last Saturday night, I was over at a buddy's house, and
Did you touch his wiener?
Yeah, I touched his wiener. No, I was over at a buddy's house. He rented a tool from he rented a big tool from Home Depot, so he asked me to ride with him to take it back, and we used his pickup truck, and we got to Home Depot, and he backed it in the spot. And he says, Kev, I'm going to go pay for this thing. Will you unhook it and then just pull my truck around? Yeah, sure, no problem. So I unhooked it, pull his truck around right in front of the Home Depot, and I'm standing there, or I'm sitting in his seat, and I was like, I'll just get out and get over to the passenger seat, and I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, it's like, damn, I really got to poop.
Okay. Oh my God, where's this going now?
I know where this is going. I know where it's going.
Dude, did you poop yourself?
You pooped yourself.
I was like, damn, I really got to go.
He hasn't said no.
So I was like, I'm gonna ask him to stop at Chick-fil-A. So I'm sitting there like 2 minutes. I was like, no, I'm going into Home Depot right now. I'm not making it to Chick-fil-A. Dude, I opened up the truck door. I made it 3 steps, and I was like, nope, we're not making it inside Home Depot. Dude, I had no way, Kev. I made it 4 steps, and I'm sitting there. No way, dude. Gripping my asshole. I had basketball shorts on, and it fell out to the ground. No. Dude, so
no way, Kev.
So I'm leaning up against the bed of his truck. I'm leaning up against the bed of his truck, and he comes walking out, and he can tell that something happened, and he looks at me. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Dude, I just shit myself." He's like, "Hold on, I gotta go in and pay for this real quick." And he comes back out, and I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna hop in the bed of your truck. I'm gonna lay down, and you're gonna drive me to my house." So I hop in there, and the whole way down 30, he's screaming back to me, "Did you shit in my truck? Did you shit?" It's like, no! That smell's coming from back here.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dude, it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever gone through in my life. We're all grown-ass men, and I had an accident.
An accident? You shit on the fucking parking lot at Home Depot. That's not an accident.
So
God,
he drops me off at my house, and my kids and my wife are over at his house. And I said, "Go ahead. I'm going to be a while."
Yeah.
So I get my car and I drive my car over there. And
I'm fucking crying. Oh my God.
And I go right up to Jackson, and Amy told him.
Oh my God.
He comes right up to me. He's like, "Daddy, did you poop your pants?" And I said, "Buddy, yeah, I did." And he looks at me with this straight ass face, and he goes, "Was it on accident?"
Was it on accident?
And I said, "Yeah, buddy, it was on accident." And he goes, "It's okay then."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Dude, it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever gone through.
Well, I think we can end the show on that note.
I don't even know where to go.
That's it. That's gold.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from here. I can't fucking believe
Own it. I gotta own it.
That's the absolute last thing that I thought you were gonna say.
I am so glad you saved this for the show.
Oh my God.
And didn't spill the beans during the commercial.
It happened the day before Amy came over to record. I said, "Don't you say a word. This for the good of the show.
Oh
don't you
my
say a
God,
word."
dude.
Good job, Amy. Good job.
I can't believe that's incredible, Kev.
Wow.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I was going to ask, and you rode home in your French truck with fucking shitty shorts?
Laid down in the back so nobody saw me back there.
You're lucky he had a pickup truck.
Dude, right? Oh my god, it was bad. It was
Dude.
bad.
I can just picture you just standing out there in gym shorts and a turd
Dude,
just
it
falls on the
splatted.
ground.
It got all over my shoes. Like, it was,
Oh,
That's fucking gross, Kev.
like
Oh my god, dude.
how? Like how does it happen that quick?
all right. So what I pegged it on was that night, the night prior, I had Domino's for dinner, woke up and had Domino's for breakfast, and then had this huge iced coffee. And then went over to their house.
Just lubed it up like a fucking ice luge in there.
It came out like a fucking ice luge for sure.
Oh my god, Kev. Oh, dude.
Jesus Christ, man.
I don't care what happens. This is my favorite episode ever. This is my favorite episode ever. I will never forget that Kev shat himself and decided to wait until we recorded to tell me about it. Oh my god.
Wow.
So, moving on.
How can you move on from that? There's no moving on. See you next week, guys.
My point is real quick, simple. Jesus Christ. My point, it's Friday where we are in this time space continuum. The new Spider-Man game for PlayStation 4 just came out, and the shit is dope. I got it. I haven't gotten very far into it, but if you are into superhero video games, anything like that, check it out. It's dope. It's PlayStation exclusive. I like it a lot so far.
Yeah, we were watching you play before we got started with the podcast. It looked cool as shit.
It's cool as shit.
Yeah, it did look dope.
Yeah, so check that shit out. Jesus Christ. Kev, I can't even look at you. Danny. What's your point?
So last week for my late review, I talked about the show Alone on the History Channel. They get sent out into the wilderness. They can bring 10 items out with them. They have to survive the longest to win $500,000. Made me think if I was sent out there, which I wouldn't be obliged to do. I mean, I've been in the Boy Scouts. I've done the survival. I think I'd be able to do I think I'd be able to do pretty good out there. But if I was on that show, what 10 items I would bring out with me? And I wanted to compare it to the 10 items that you guys would bring out to see just how close they are related. So, do you guys have 10 items that you would bring out?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you let me just say first that I would make it a week in this situation, if that. And the second thing,
first of all, these because they give you a backing of the. That's not even the right word.
A backstory.
Backstory, like just to give you a feel for it. Dude, these guys are camping, and there's wolves and bears and cougars like right next to their tents.
Yeah, like at nighttime, they can hear the animals coming up right outside of their shelter.
I'd make it a day. But you sent us the kind of like the rules.
Yeah, the official rules of what you can and can't bring.
So here's the deal. They give you a list of things that don't count towards the 10 things. And these things are all very important things. 1 pair high leg hunting boots, 1 pair water shoes, 1 t-shirt, 2 fleece or wool shirts, hooded or unhooded, 1 wool sweater, 3 pairs wool socks, 2 hats brimmed or baseball, 1 bandana or schmegma. 2 pairs of gloves, 1 insulated and 1 leather work style, 2 pairs of underwear, 1 warm outdoor jacket, 1 rain jacket, 1 rain pant, 1 pair of thermal underwear, top and bottom, 1 pair of gaiters, 1 leather belt, 1 toothbrush, 1 pair of eyeglasses with proof of prescription, 1 personal photograph, and 1 multi-seasonal sleeping bag, 1 fixed blade knife, and 1 ferro rod. That's the list of things that doesn't count towards your 10.
Yeah.
So We're gonna share we'll share this on our site. We'll share the link or whatever. So
Right.
check it out on Facebook so you can look at it if you're interested by this. But then there's other rules. I mean, this is going to take forever to go through. So, just basic. You're only allowed like 2 food items. You're only allowed. You're only allowed to have 2 food items. Yeah, pretty much is like the only thing. So.
Yes, stuff that you can't bring out. You can't bring out a firearm of any sorts. You can't bring out sunglasses, and that kind of stuff.
Which would automatically disqualify me. I fucking wear sunglasses all the time.
Yeah. So if I was going out, one of the things that is included is a fixed blade knife. So when I think of a fixed blade knife, I think of like a machete. I would bring a smaller knife. I'd also bring a climbing rope, fishing line, bow and arrow, a saw, a metal pot, a bag of beef jerky, an LED headlamp, a multi-tool, and a shovel. That is my 10 items that I would bring out with me to survive the longest.
So you wouldn't bring any of the food?
A bag of beef jerky.
Oh, bag of beef jerky. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got
It's a big bag of beef jerky. They say 2 pounds.
Yeah, it's a 2-pound bag of beef jerky.
a tarp that would help make the shelter, an axe.
I failed. I forgot my tarp. There goes my shelter. I didn't last a day.
I'd bring a tarp for the shelter, axe, a hammock to get me off the ground so I'm not sleeping on the ground, a pot, multi-tool, the 2-pound bag of beef jerky, a saw, 2-pound bag of grope, which is the M&M's peanuts and raisin
Trail
mixture.
mix.
Yeah, trail mix. A sharpening stone so I can sharpen my knife and my axe, and an LED flashlight.
I did the 2 pounds beef jerky, 2 pounds of military crackers,
300 pounds of military crackers is a lot of fucking crackers.
It's a lot of crackers.
And
I'm not trying to run out of food.
But
I don't eat fruit or vegetables, so pretty much if I run out of beef jerky and crackers, I'm done.
It'll make you thirsty.
Yo, why don't you trap with that stuff?
Yo, listen. I mean, I might, but then I got to kill something, and then I got to do something to it that I can't do to survive.
Yeah, he's fucked. So you're basically lasting out till your beef jerky's gone.
Pretty much. That's what I'm telling you. I'm gonna make
He's making beef jerky
sandwiches,
sandwiches with the crackers.
Yo, but like
beef jerky sandwiches is the shit in your nature.
I killed 2 pounds of beef jerky in like one sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to use it sparingly unless there's a lot of cougars, and then I would eat that shit and roll. If they're giving me the 2 pounds of beef jerky, I'm going to eat it in the woods, and then I'm going to roll out.
Thanks for my beef jerky.
Yeah, peace. I'm not winning the prize. If I get 2 pounds of beef jerky, I'm hype. And a trip, you know what I mean? I'm going somewhere. Where are we at?
So this was the last one was in Mongolia. It was in Mongolia.
Getting 2 pounds of beef jerky, a trip to Mongolia. I'm out.
Come get me.
Yeah. But if I survive and make my beef jerky last a little while, I would also have 300 yards rolling fishing line with 25 assorted hooks is one of the things that they give you. 1 hatchet for sure. The paracord, like the rope so I can tie shit and make rafts.
Yep. Rafts?
I'm going to make a raft.
You going to go out sunbathing on the pond?
I don't know. Is there ponds in Mongolia? I'm trying to go out there and go fishing and shit.
There's water out there.
1 saw. That would also help me in the construction of my fucking raft. 1 steel.
You're making a raft to get off of the whatever island?
My man, if there's cougars everywhere, I'm sleeping on the water. That's what the fuck I'm doing. I'm sleeping on the water. I'm getting away from everybody.
I mean, he's got a great idea.
Yeah, but how about if a
because
storm
that way
comes
I don't
in?
have to build a fucking dope ass shelter with nothing because I'm not bringing anything to build. Let me finish my top 10. 1 steel frying pan.
What are you going to fry? Your beef jerky?
Say I get a fish with the fishing line. Kev.
When was the last time you ate fish?
If I'm in the middle of a fucking pond in Mongolia and I run out of beef jerky, Kev, I gotta catch fish. See, I'm trying to win. You know what I mean? That's the point of this exercise.
Do you know how to gut a fish?
I mean, I would just fry it and just eat the whole thing, right?
You got to take the insides out.
Okay, I would figure that out. I'd figure that out. Just turn it upside down and shake it. Is that how you do that?
Our chances are pretty good of beating Taylor.
One pocket knife, one sharpening stone in case I dull any of my sharp objects, and one small shovel to dig my own grave. Actually, the shovel would probably be because when I was thinking through this, I was like, I wouldn't have to build a shelter if I just dug a hole.
And put your tarp over top of it.
Fucking no.
You should see the shelters that these people build. See, season 1, they weren't too elaborate, but by the time you got to season 5, like the one guy was literally in a log cabin that he built.
Wow, see, that's dope, and that I would never.
Yeah. I mean, he had a bed, he had an area for all of his firewood, a chimney for his campfire, everything.
Chances are my dumbass would like blow out my back day 2, and I'd just be laying there, and there'd be some fucking big ass cat just eating me and all my beef jerky that I didn't eat. Motherfuckers.
I would do it. I mean, I would love to do it.
I mean, I would love to watch you do it from the comforts of somebody with a fan or like electricity and Wi-Fi, but no, count me out. I'll make a cool list and hypothesize about some crazy shit, but
talk about how good you might do out there.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't last at all. As soon as they leave, I'd be like, guys, I just thought about this and I'm not doing it.
See, when we were in Boy Scouts, we had this wilderness survival that we had to do. And they gave us an orange, an egg, a space blanket, an emergency blanket, and a knife, and we had to go out and survive off of that for the
Are you
night.
Eagle Scout?
Yes.
Are you?
Yep.
Nice.
As soon as I lost my first Pinewood Derby championship, I quit.
That was it for you.
That was it.
You're such a sore loser.
I didn't even know what a ferro rod was, Kev. I asked him that before I came here.
It's for making fire.
He's like, is there a fire stick? I'm like, there's not a fire stick on this list. He's like, oh, a ferro rod. The fuck? I don't know what that shit is. I was like, well, that makes it a lot easier. I just throw the whole thing in the fire.
Doesn't work like that.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. But see, that's what I mean. Just hypothesizing stupid shit because I don't know a goddamn thing about being outside.
You would be the guy that's on there that everybody watches. Like, look, Taylor's going to try to build a fire, and he gets his ferro rod just throwing it at the wood. Why isn't this son of a bitch lighting?
Yeah. Just throw it up against trees and shit, expecting it to like blow up, spontaneously combust, and start a fire. Anyway, so no intro. Let's do late review.
All right.
What do you got, Kev?
So I've been, I didn't listen to the whole album, but I've been following the shit out of the battle going on between MGK and Eminem.
Okay.
And how he came out his neck. And I wanted to rate MGK's diss track back to Eminem.
Oh.
My wife and I were talking about this today. I'm curious to see what your rating is for it.
So I really, really liked it.
Yo, he murdered him.
Murdered Eminem.
Yes.
He did good, but I don't think wait till Eminem comes back with something. He did really good, and if I did have to rate it, I like Machine Gun Kelly, and I would have to give his diss track a 7.5. I really liked it. I did really like it.
He did it overnight.
Right.
In one night, he did that.
Yeah. And it is good. I would have to give it a 7.5. Like the first opening line is a little bit corny. Shave your beard. It's weird. I mean, a little bit corny, but he comes at his neck hard and it's really good.
Yeah.
It is really good.
It was okay. It was good. It was good. I don't know.
I think Eminem's going to murder him.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking tear him to pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it for publicity right now, but
it's working.
It is working because people are talking.
Yep.
Machine Gun Kelly's gotten more plays in the last week than he has in fucking the last 6 months.
That's true.
So,
what do you got, Danny?
My wife and I.
Well, I'm sorry. Did you give it a rating?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
Allison and I watched a movie the other night. We watched the movie Tag that we talked about on this podcast. The 5 friends that for the past 30 years they play a game of tag from March 1st to March 31st.
So good.
So this movie had me laughing my ass off at points. Like to the point I had tears rolling down my face. I think some of it was a little drug out too much. Like the way the guy that has never been tugged before, how he like goes into slow motion and he starts talking to himself like, I can smell him.
See,
He
that
must
to me
be
was like my
approaching.
favorite part. I
Really?
loved it. Oh, I thought it was so great.
I thought they exaggerated a little too much at some points.
Yeah.
But I thought the movie was hysterical. It's one of those movies that if it's on again, I'll probably end up watching it a few times.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a solid 8.5.
Yeah, that's good.
I loved at the end of the movie when they were rolling the credits, they showed actual footage of this group of friends playing tag.
Yeah. This is real.
Legit based
This
on
is
a true
based
story.
on a 100% true story.
So the movie focuses on like what was it, like 4, 5 or 6 of the friends.
Yeah.
But in real life, there's a lot. There's more. There's like a bunch more. There's like 9 or 10.
Yeah, it
maybe
looked like
even-
there was 10 or
yeah.
so.
There's a bunch. But like they for real, like all moved to different parts of the country and all over the place. And for 1 month a year, there's no rules. They just tag each other. They travel. They group up together on people. Whoever's it.
You never know who's it.
Yeah.
So like if us three are playing, if Taylor's it, like you may not know if it's me or Taylor. And say if you're in California and he's living in Pennsylvania, he might fly out there to you and try to get a job working at your office.
They use disguises and shit. And like the one guy applied for a job at the like corporation that the one dude was running just to get in there as like a custodian to like get in and get close to him so he could fucking tag him. They tagged him during a funeral. They tagged him like
obviously no tag backs.
No tag backs.
Yeah, they have their own rules. No tag backs is one of them, which is so dope. But
That's so dope.
It's awesome. But they have all these. The one guy was getting interviewed by like the Wall Street Journal or something, and this happened. Like somebody tried to tag him, and the person that like was there was like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know what I mean? And he explained it to him, and then, like this person in the movie, it's a woman. In real life, it was a dude. But they followed him around, documented like a whole month of them playing tag, and there was one guy who like never got tagged and shit. It's a good movie.
Huh.
It was funny. It was funny as
cool.
shit.
It's definitely dope.
It's cool.
But my review, Jake Palumbo mentioned it in the interview I had with him. I checked out Fonte's new album, No News is Good News. I like the title. It's got news in it twice.
Ugh.
I really liked it. It's different. I'm not that familiar with Fonte, to be honest, but I really like this album. I would give it really strong 7.
Nice.
It's creative. The beats are real chill, real smooth. And he reminds me a lot of, I guess, a little bit of Black Thought, a little bit of Rhymefest. And actually, it's funny that I say that because this guy is going to be in a super group with Black Thought and Rhymefest.
No shit.
Coming up soon. They're coming together to do an album together, which is going to be mega dope. But like he's like along those lines, like really lyrical. That's what I mean when I say remind me of him. But he's got a really nice flow. So Help Me God's a really dope track. I like Cry No More, Change of Mind. It's really good. Strong 7.
Speaking of Black Thought, what'd you think of his hype video for the Eagles?
Loved it.
Wild.
He's the GOAT.
Chills, dude.
I love
it.
Black
Gave me
Thought.
all the feels.
It's my number one. Number one.
Yeah, it was perfect for that. Perfect.
This time next year, Kev, when you do this week in history, will you talk about pooping yourself?
I might.
Will you always remember
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
day that it happened?
Absolutely.
Have you ever pooped yourself?
No.
Come on, man.
Not in public. Certainly not in public. No.
Have you?
Never.
Really?
Never.
Trying to remember if I've ever like pooped. I've definitely pissed myself drunk. I've definitely done that.
You've peed everywhere
I've
drunk.
peed all over the place drunk.
Now, see, I got a story about a drunken piss. I was at my wife's parents' house, and we were playing beer pong. And I was playing with my sister-in-law. We had no beer, so we were playing with Captain Morgan. I got fucking shit-faced. My wife and I were living here in this apartment complex, but down a little bit further. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I was having a dream. I was working construction. So I was pissing in my dream. I woke up, I walked to the corner of the bedroom, and I just start pissing in the corner of the bedroom.
Yep. Done that.
My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm peeing.
I beat all over fucking laundry. Just dead asleep. Standing up. Drunk as shit. Peeing everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, it's bad. So, Kev, yours is way worse.
September 11th, 1962, the Beatles record their first single, Love Me You Do. September 11th, 2001, two hijack commercial jets were crashed into terrorists. Jesus Christ. Fucking planes flew into the Twin Towers.
9/11 happened.
9/11 happened. Yeah. 2012, armed gunmen stormed American consulate in Benghazi and killed the U.S. ambassador to Libya, Christopher Stevens, and their three other ambassadors. September 15th, 2004, the National Hockey League lockout began. 2004-2005 season would ultimately be canceled.
Wow.
That's what I got.
Benghazi. That was a good movie.
That's
too.
a great movie.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for this week of Might Be News. Hands down, my favorite episode ever.
Thank you. Sincere thank you for sharing that with us on the show.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
Great job tonight, Kev.
Thanks. Fully embarrassed myself.
Probably your best episode to date.
It was a fantastic performance.
Fully embarrassed myself.
It's great. Danny, fantastic.
Thanks. I think you did a good job as well, too.
Thank you. Check us out next week. We got Relatable Radio, Might Be Sports. We got a busy week, busy network. I love this shit. Novak and Franz show did great last week. Can't wait for the next one for that, too. It's going to be awesome. Check us out, mbnnetwork.com. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. See you next week. Peace out, Kev.
See ya.
Peace out, Danny.
Peace out.
Peace.